Now, back on New Year's Day of 2019, we discussed the initial plans for Chicago O'Hare's expansion plan, dubbed O'Hare 21. After many years of ballooning costs and delays, the project is back on track and is significantly scaled back from compared to where it was back in 2018. What's going on, everyone? My name's SkullTiTM68, and in today's latest American Airport expansion video, we're taking a fresh look at O'Hare 21. Chicago O'Hare's scaled back first phase of expansion and modernization. Right after this. Now, this newly revised plan is significantly different compared to its initial plans in 2018. Because the initial plans ballooned way past its intended budget, the airport had scaled back on its current plans of expansion at O'Hare. In this project, there are three main projects. So there's a replacement of Terminal 2 with the new global terminal, 2 new satellite terminals, and the expansion and modernization of Terminal 5. There were also other supporting projects on top of this, and these include the new 9C 27C runway, the Concourse L expansion, the new Terminal 5 parking garage, and the Terminal 3 improvements projects. Some of these supporting projects are already completed, with the main project still in the final design and planning stages. But to start with, let's go over some of these supporting projects before we actually get to the main projects. So to start off with, let's go over the opening of 9C27C. So this is one of the 4 east to west runways that is closest to the terminals. Now, if I were to take a look at the picture of that, now, if you were to look at the map, there are 8 runways. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 6 east to west runways, but 4 that are close to the terminal. Out of those 4, 9C27C is this runway right here. Opening back in 2020, this was the last project in the preceding $6 billion O'Hare modernization project, where they rebuilt the majority of the airfield outside of the terminals, and they completely reconfigured even a lot of those runways too. With the runway costing just over $1 billion, this 2.13 mile runway is the second longest runway at O'Hare. Now, when the O'Hare modernization project started back in the mid-2000s, system impact delays, and these are delays from aircraft due to just the infrastructure, has decreased by 64% when compared to 2020 and 2003, right when they started that project. In Terminal 3, there is a concourse on the very northern side of the gate called Concourse L. Now, within Concourse L, there are a total of, originally there were only 2 gates. Now, this did come with a new 3-gate expansion. Now, there are 2 gates that are already opened. So that is going to be L25 and L27. I think that's one of these 3 over here. I don't have the map pulled up and I kind of don't want to. But out of these 3, I think 2 of them are open, and then L26 is supposed to open sometime later this year, which, to be honest, with how it is, it's probably opened at this point. With this concourse expansion, this expands Concourse L by 11,000 feet, while also adding about 112,000 square feet of taxiway pavement. Now, mind y'all, 112,000 square feet may sound like a lot when it comes to, like, anything else in general, but for a taxiway thing, 112,000 square feet is, like, kind of minuscule. But on top of this Concourse L expansion, they also added a new small animal relief area, a mother's room, as well as 2 all-gender bathrooms. Now, on top of this Concourse L expansion, Terminal 3 also was undergoing a $300 million renovation called Elevate T3. Now, breaking ground in April of 2024, this project aims to upgrade customer amenities, improve security screening and airport operations, as well as expanding accessibility for passengers with disabilities. So some of these specific projects included under this renovation include expanding the passenger corridor between concourses K and L, which, if you guys hadn't looked before, I mean, this literally looks like a jetway bridge connecting K and L. So what they're most likely going to do is they'll rebuild this and make it wider, kind of like what most of these concourses are here. off of Terminal 3. On top of this, they've reconfigured 2 security checkpoints into an expanded checkpoint. They're going to renovate the restrooms, and then they'll also develop about 11,000 square feet for new commercial and amenity spaces, among other things. Now, Terminal 3 will still be open while these renovations are ongoing, but all these renovations should be complete by around 2027. Now, the last supporting project we're going to discuss is the Terminal 5 parking garage. So, when it comes to Terminal 5, you can kind of see it here. All of this used to be open air parking, but the thing is that Terminal 5 is right over here. It is not directly connected to the rest of these gates. I mean, look, Terminal 1 is mainly served by United, Terminal 3 is mainly served by American, and Terminal 5 is pretty much the international gates for everyone. So it's a little bit, it gets a little bit tiring to have to take the train all the way over to get back to here if you can't find parking. But what they've done, and you can probably see it here, they've added a brand new parking garage that you can walk straight across to, well, park your car. And since this most recent one was in March, it looks like they're still probably in the works on it. I think they're still working on it. But again, for some context, Terminal 5 is not directly connected to the other terminals when it comes to the buildings themselves. There is a people mover system, but the buildings are not directly connected. Now, this new 6-story parking garage is plans to double the amount of parking spots at that terminal. And because this is being built on top of a huge portion of Lot D, which is the open-air parking lot right in front of Terminal 5, parking at Terminal 5 has been extremely limited since it broke ground in 2024. With this parking garage scheduled to be completed sometime this year, I wouldn't be surprised if it's already opened. Some of the other projects included in this parking garage include EV charging stations, restripping the road lanes to rebalance lane capacity, as well as expanding the curbside area. So what I mean by that is pretty much like repainting a lot of these roadways leading in and out of Terminal 5 so that you can actually see what's going to be, you can like, how do I want to say this? They're doing this so that it increases capacity at the curbside areas while also increasing the curbside area so that you can, well, have more cars here. Now with that is all of the what's known as the supporting projects. Now we're going to go into the 3 main projects. So the first one we're going to talk about is what's going to be known as the Global Terminal. Now where that's going to be is going to be right where Terminal 2 is. So this will be a new international terminal that is going to be sandwiched between Terminals 1 and 3. Why are they doing this? Because because since United and American have a huge hub here, I mean, if you see this is American, this is pretty much American right over here, and this is United. And United is actually expanding their stuff too. More on that in a little bit. But with the new resolution passing earlier this year in April of 2024, the demolition of Terminal 2 and the construction of the new Global Terminal will actually be built before the new satellite concourse is due to growing demand at O'Hare International Airport. With this $2.2 billion terminal, this will allow American and United to grow their international flights out of O'Hare and be easily connected to both of their respective terminals. On top of this, there's going to be a brand new customs facility as well as a state-of-the-art baggage system. And with this being about double the size of the current Terminal 2, there will be more spaces for concessions, lounges, and public amenities. And as I just said before, now let's go over the 2 satellite concourses for United. So what they're going to do in basic simple terms before I actually do like the whole spiel about it. So the new Global Terminal is actually going to connect up here. It's going to somewhat connect up here to Terminal 1. So it's going to kind of come down here and then go down. And then the satellite concourse terminals is going to come off of this concourse here, and then there's going to be a brand new one right over here, kind of where they're already rebuilding the airfield right here. So a lot of stuff has to go on before they can actually do some of these concourse terminals. Now, because the Global Terminal's construction priority is heightened, these satellite terminals are not as big of a priority. However, they are still important, they're just not going to be built first. Now, Satellite Concourse 1 is at top priority with groundbreaking starting in March 23, by reworking parts of the airfield to accommodate Satellite Concourse 1, as you guys have probably already seen on that Google Earth picture from March. Adding 19 gates as an extension to Concourse C, so that's the outbound, that's the farthest one out that's currently built. This terminal plans to move a lot of United's flights out of Terminal 2 to prepare for the demolition of Terminal 2 for the new global terminal. Satellite 2, however, will most likely be the last of the major projects to start construction and open. The reason for this is because O'Hare, like LAX, has not had the same passenger numbers since the pre-pandemic times. For example, in 2019, O'Hare saw 84.6 million passengers. However, last year in 2023, O'Hare only saw 73 million passengers. That's about 87% of what O'Hare saw pre-pandemic. Now, while they are working on Satellite Concourses 1, Concourse 2 will most likely start once the global terminal is either a good ways into its construction or completely open. How will it work? I honestly am not too sure. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is actually the first major project that opened up a couple years ago, and that is the expansion of Terminal 5. Now, costing $1.3 billion, this Terminal 5 expansion was the largest terminal project at O'Hare since Terminal 5's opening in 1993. Now, what this did is it added onto the east side. So all of this stuff here was built out. It added another 10 gates and I think almost doubled the capacity of Terminal 5, if I remember. I'm not too sure. But starting in 2019, this 10-gate expansion to Terminal 5 increased the gate numbers by 25%. In opening January of 2023, so when this came out, this is about a year and a half ago, this expansion also reconfigured the customs facility, security checkpoints, and international arrivals facilities, while also replacing and upgrading the baggage handling system. Now, with these 10 new gates, all can accommodate wide-body aircraft, with 9 of them using what's known as MARS, also known as multiple aircraft ramp systems. So these types of ramps allow for gates to accommodate both wide bodies and narrow bodies gates depending on the demand and the need. It can repurpose 2 wide body gates to fit 3. So for example, for 9 of these gates, let's say if you want to reconfigure 8 of them to narrow body gates, you can have 12 narrow body gates. And this allows for more flexibility over at Terminal 5. Now, as O'Hare continues on with their terminal area plan, we will get an idea of how Chicago O'Hare will prepare for the future growth when it comes to both United and American's flight schedules, as well as the overall growth of the Chicago metropolitan area. With O'Hare being currently the 6th busiest airport in the world in 2019, could we see O'Hare move back up the rankings? Time will tell as to if and when O'Hare will go back to being one of the busiest airports in the world, especially with the rebound of international travel in 2023. And with that, we're going to end the video here, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video over O'Hare's new terminal area plan known as O'Hare 21. If you liked what you just saw, leave a like down below and hit that subscribe button next to it. If you guys don't want to miss any future uploads, whether it's more aviation content, mountain bike content, or automotive content, or even our weather live streams, hit that bell icon so you'll be the first person to be notified when these videos drop. And with these live streams, you will also be notified a half hour beforehand to know when those live streams are scheduled. Lastly, leave a comment down below and let me know what airports I should take a look at that I haven't already discussed in previous American Airport expansion videos back from like 6 years ago. Once I'm done taking a fresh look at those older episodes in the American Airport expansion series, I'm going to start putting a poll out that you, the viewers, can vote on as to what airport I should take a look at next. Outside of that, hope you all have a great day and a great weekend. Peace.